Hey guys, so this is going to show you how One Smart Lab face identification with anti-spoofing liveness detection API works. So just to kind of give you a little quick overview, obviously face recognition, is used mainly for identifying people's faces. But what happens when people start doing funny things like, I don't know, holding up a picture of somebody else to, I don't know, access their account, maybe take their money from their banking account or something like that. So it's a pretty serious problem. It's one of those sort of a growing but rising problems in identity theft, especially this is big in finance world. People can download. You see this picture of a person on the left. That's a normal picture. But what happens if somebody logs into your Facebook or whatever your social media you used, download a picture of your face, print it, put it on their phone, and then point it to the camera that's being used to authenticate the user, right? To make sure that that person is there. But how do you verify that that's actually true, right? And it sounds like a kind of like a corny thing, but actually, if you go on YouTube, this is a pretty serious problem. There's lots and lots of devices that have face recognition as a form of user authentication to let people in. For example, Windows, I believe since Windows 8 had face recognition, a lot of Androids now do come with face recognition as a biometric security feature. But a lot of those things can be sort of bypassed. Obviously, holding up a picture of somebody else, that's the most obvious case. But you see the picture on the bottom right there. People can print masks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So what we do is with this API is basically say, are you who you say you are, right? So I want to make sure that you are there, you're not pretending to be somebody else, and just prove that you are who you say you are. So now the solution that we have isn't with a single image, because of the simple fact that images just have more information than video, right? If you look at this video image on the left, that's just one image, but can you really tell, is that an image or an image of an image? Well, I mean, I guess you could tell in certain cases, but I would say that with sort of enough sort of trickery, you can actually trick people into thinking that this is actually real. However, if you were to look at this child over a period of time, obviously, it would be a lot easier for not just the AI, but for the human to be able to tell if this is truly is just there's nothing that's sort of tricking this clip, right? That this child is actually there on the camera as opposed to a video of a child. So that's the basic premise of it. Another thing is that with video, there's also spatial and temporal and audio information that we extract and analyze as well. So we basically not only record the person, but we actually, we ask the user, please speak a sequence of numbers, so we can actually listen, do a voice to text, and be able to tell if this person is actually indeed there to answer our challenge. This is pretty similar to CAPTCHA or reCAPTCHA on internet. Like, make people, all these online services want to make sure that you're a real person as opposed to some kind of a bot trying to kind of screw with the system. So they present the user with some kind of a challenge, right? Like, fill out this CAPTCHA. What does this picture say? Where's a sign, traffic sign on this road? It's a similar kind of concept. Another thing is that we actually read lips as well. So this is a general workflow. Step number one, you ask the user to record himself or herself on his phone, right, some kind of a device, and it's going to be a video, and they're going to speak a sequence of numbers. We call that OTP, one-time password, and that video, once it's recorded, it gets passed on to the One Smart Lab API. And there's three things that you need to pass. Obviously, the API key. It's not there on the screen, but you need the API key. The actual video file, it has to be a MP4 file. There's a documentation that explains, what are the best dimensions and how far the video should be, how far the video camera should be from the face, and how big the file should be. It's all in the documentation. The OTP, what's the code that you use to ask the user to say, and of course, the language spoken. We support pretty much like 90% of the language spoken by 90% of the world. And you get a response. Basically, from that response, you can approve or deny. But also, we also give you a breakdown of some of the metrics. So if you do find something sort of fishy, that's sort of like gray area, you can let it go to human moderation as opposed to just flat out denying, because you don't want to make the user experience really bad, right? You want to make it sort of really easy for people who are not doing anything funny. But if there are certain problems, because this is AI, we're constantly training it, there are some cases where there potentially could be false negatives. So in those cases, we want to elevate to human moderation. So I'm going to give you a demo using a there's a Thai bank that approached us, and they had this similar problem where people were downloading other people's faces from the internet and trying to access their accounts. Obviously, identity theft, this crime. But problem is they're doing 10,000 verifications per day, actually around 11 to 12K. So they couldn't do everything, and they needed help. So we came up with this, and this is obviously going to be in Thai language, but this could be in any language. We've done demos in 5 different languages. They all work pretty okay. Just because we don't ask the user to speak complex sentences or words that are kind of confusing. So these are like simple, 5 to 6 numbers. And here's the demo. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to look at the documentation, it's onesmartlab.com/docs. So you know where that is. Anyway, so let me show you. Actually, let me show you the. So this is the ID. This is what it looks like. That's not me. I just made that up. That's not my information. Okay, so let me show you how the normal case, the person who's recording and not doing anything funny and fishy and is trying to access his own account, this is, standard case, right? So we ask the user to speak, and, I say certain things in Thai, right? And this case will be the case where the user is doing something funny, like holding up a picture of somebody else. And this is the case of somebody downloading a video of that person and playing it and pointing the device to the camera. Now, obviously, the victim is not going to speak the sequence of numbers that the actual user got, right? But I'm just trying to make a point that this is the demo case. So anyway, so let me show you that. So this is the UI wrapper. Obviously, this is not something you're gonna get. This is I told you the workflow. So the workflow is basically, this is what the UI sort of encapsulates, right? So you can actually test it for yourself. If this doesn't run, that means the testing server is off, just because we use a testing server for other stuff. Anyway, so letting you know, if you actually run this and you get a constant sort of, you don't get any results, that means it's just constantly running. That means the API server is off, the test API server. Anyway, let me show you. So what we want to do is, number one, obviously upload a picture of the user's ID with the face on it, right? So I'm going to upload that. Right. And actually, like I mentioned, you can actually download this yourself and test it out yourself. So we'll go over here, so upload that. So, and we need to upload the video of the person saying this stuff. I give you the instructions on like what's the best practice. I think, here you go. That tells you how to compress the video, how far the video should be. It shouldn't be too close, not too far, about an arm's length. And we've seen some developers use sort of this kind of like they put a circle and they said, hey, make sure your face is inside the circle so that it's not too close, not too far. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Okay, so now in that video, I say the numbers in Thai, and So let me I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, in Thai. Obviously, the reason why I'm typing it here is because in the normal case, you would actually be generating some number, right? Like some random number, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, or something like that. But obviously, I've already pre-recorded it with saying it, so I'm, saying it this way. But you get the point that you generate the number first, ask the person to record, make sure that what is recorded matches what was given. But this is pre-recorded, so I'm obviously gonna just type it in. And of course, what language, the person is speaking it in. Obviously, this is Thai, so I'm gonna just use Thai. So now I'm going to pass the normal case where I don't do anything funny. Now it's gonna, it has to be 6 digits. Oh, 1 second, 1 second. Sorry, let me just refresh this real quick. All right, sorry about that. I got rid of the 6 limit minimum. So you can actually, it could be as long as you want. It could be like, as short as 2 or 3. Obviously, the longer, the more secure it's gonna get. But obviously, the longer it gets, the more sort of annoying it gets because you're gonna have to record more video. You have to wait longer. So, I say 6, but it's completely up to you guys. So now let me upload this thing. Now it's gonna run the model. Obviously, this is a video, so it's gonna analyze pretty much every frame of the video, and then it's gonna spit out a result for you. So now what you're looking for is, well, there's a couple of things. It gives you a status and also breakdown of the status. So let me kind of show you what is going on. So let me actually just copy this into Notepad. Let me zoom in, right? So what you're looking for is this thing called verification status, right? Verification status. So this means true. That means all the parameters are true. Like the audio, the person spoke the audio, the face to frame width ratio, it's in the documentation. That's, that's passed, meaning that the face not too close to the video, not too far from the video. Not spoof means it's like, no funny business detected. Video phase, no change passed means like there hasn't been any other face other than the one that it saw in the beginning. And video face to ID face pass means the video on the face matches the ID of the face. Now there's other stuff which are in the docs that you can actually kind of use to determine if this person should go into moderation or not. So you can actually have, like in the certain cases of, I don't know, like twins or something like that, you might want to let it go to human moderation. Now let me do that again. Now let's say that the person, I did the same thing, right? Pass ID. I'm gonna use the same video, but I'm gonna say that the OTP was something else, right? Like I gave the guy OTP 165196, but obviously I don't say that in the video. So now let's run this model. Let's wait. Now let me copy this, paste this again. Let me go over here. Now the verification status is now false, right? Success, true, that means it ran correctly. That means the AI ran correctly. Verification, right? Verification status is false. Why? Because if you look at the breakdown, right, it tells you what broke. So the audio challenge is false, means that whatever was the OTP is not what the person said in the video. Everything else kind of matches, which is okay. So now you know the audio works, right? So now let me show you the same thing, ID. Now this time I'm going to say the correct OTP, but using the face attack, right? So 1, 2, 3, 5. Not the face attack, the paper attack, right? So I'm gonna run this, and this thing should tell you that one of those things broke. So let me copy paste this again so you can see better. There you go. So verification status is false, because if you look at the breakdown right here, it says audio challenge passed. That's false. Let me explain why that is. But anyway, not spoof pass is false. So we detected this person doing something funny. Audio challenge pass is false is because when your face is behind the paper like that, one of the benefits of doing video is that your audio gets muffled by the paper, and the speech recognition engine does not pick it up correctly. That's sort of the added benefit of running it on a video as opposed to a still image. Now let's try the third case of the ID. Now the correct OTP, but I'm gonna use this video where obviously, anyway, so I'm gonna run that in the video. Now it's relatively quick because we run this model. It's a really large model, but we run on a rather powerful GPU. It's one of the reasons why we don't do on device, because it's kind of slow on device. We tested it on multiple devices, even on a relatively powerful Huawei and Samsung phones. They just didn't work that well. Anyway, so let me copy paste this, copy paste that. All right, so verification status equals false. Why? Let's see why. So audio challenge pass is false again. Like I said, that's the added benefit of doing the audio stuff on video. Not spoof pass equals false, meaning that it detected that there's something funny going on. It's not a real face. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And you could test this on multiple languages if you like. So we are updating the model constantly, and you know, this runs on, I think you saw it, on tons of different languages, like you can actually see, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email me, teru@onesmartlab.com. This workflow thing, I will post this on the web somewhere, so you can see how it works. And that's pretty much it. Thanks.